The Dark Elves are feared throughout the old world for being a race of slavers and depraved maniacs, so who better to fight them than a race of undead who know no fear? Today I am leading the forces of the vampire counts against the Dark Elves. I am going very wide. My plan is to swarm in, have a big front line with a bunch of chaff up front. These poor zombies aren't going to have a great day, but they're just there to soak up blows. Behind them, I'm using some skeleton spearmen as well as Graveguard. Graveguard, I always kind of slept on them. And then as the more I use them in the campaign and in multiplayer, I think they're great. They're pretty cheap. They will put up a great fight. Like all undead, they cause fear, so even if they're evenly matched, they will win the leadership battle there, especially when they're backed up by a necromancer on a corpse cart. This cart will give them some bonuses. The Unholy Lodestone replenishes the health passively of all the infantry in the fight. It itself will regenerate, and it has the Master of the Undead, so whenever it's casting a spell, everything on the map gets healed, even if it's not in range. Some more skeleton spearmen, more zombies over there. Graveguard with great weapons. My plan for them, they have good armor piercing and a bonus versus infantry, so the front line of zombies will hit the enemy. These guys move in, while they're soaking up the shots, they can deal damage. On each flank, I have a unit of Blood Knights backed up by a pack of dire wolves. My poor little doggos can't do much in a fight, but they can grab an enemy unit, pin it in place, and then the Knights of Blood Keep will come charging down and finish the fight. Overwatching all of this, I have a Von Karstein Vampire Lord on a Hellsteed. Very fast, good in a fight, and it also has... where are you going? Okay, there he is. And he also has a couple of spells here that I think are pretty fantastic. Storm of the Night. It's free. It pins any flying unit in place by knocking its speed down by 3/4, and it doesn't cost any winds of magic. I'm also bringing some the Sword of Anti-Heroes and the Charm Shield to make him better in a fight, and a couple of unique spells to the Vampire Von Karstein Bloodline, such as, where is it in that spell list there? I can summon a Vargulf right on top of enemy infantry. Flyby summons with Vampire Lords is a pretty common tactic when you're using zombies, but when you're using a massive, depraved monster, it's even better. I went pretty cheap with the Necromancer. I put him on the cart, which did make him cost a bit more, so its units keep disappearing. Oh, well. All he has is Invocation of Nehek and the Skeleton Summon just to make him cost a little bit less. The Dark Elves have an Assassin Vanguard deployed. I think the plan there was just snipe in my army as it comes running in, but what can men do in the face of such reckless hate as that? Well, not men, a silly little elf. So the answer is not much. Over here, there is a Supreme Sorceress of Fire on a dragon. This is tough. My Von Karstein Lord on a Hellsteed probably cannot take this in a straight up fight, but my Lord is much faster, and with the Bloodstorm or Storm of the Night can slow it down and then get away. Over here in the trees, there is a unit of Dark Riders. No shields. You don't really need them against the vampire counts because I have no missile units, so they'll do just fine against my chaff infantry. And then a big blob up here on the hill. There is a Hydra in front. I don't think my skeleton spearman can handle that. Very tough. It regenerates. It causes terror, which is wasted on the vampire counts. My undead, they don't care. You can't scare them. They're too spooky to be spooked. The Hellabroni, the Regiment of Renowned Spears with a bonus versus large and poison damage. That will be pretty nasty against my Blood Knights or Dire Wolves. Regular swords over here. Regular swords over here. A unit of Harganeth Executioners. These guys are absolutely monstrous in melee. I don't think I have anything on the field that can trade effectively with them, but I do outnumber them. I went wide knowing that my infantry wouldn't be as good, so One Graveguard might not kill one Harganeth Executioner, but 100 Graveguard with 100 zombies should do the trick. Out back, Shades with dual weapons, Dark Fiends, Bolt Fiends, the Regiment of Renowned Dark Shards, there we go. Great missile units, and they just look so neat lined up, ready to die. Over here are some more Shades with dual weapons. A great pick. They do a ton of missile damage, and they can hold their own in a fight. So they know that I'll be closing in. I don't have the option to fight some range, so they'll have to fight up close. And the battle's already going off. Dropping down a Storm of the Night to deal damage to the Sorceress and slow it down. I want to stay right there while my army moves around unimpeded. The size difference is kind of ridiculous. There's my lord. That's what they brought. That's kind of tough. Let's take it out of slow motion as the battle begins. Over here, I have each unit of Blood Knights with a pack of Direwolves moving up the flanks, getting into position, making them reposition. I want to control the flow of this battle as much as possible, so I'm sending them all the way around this unit here to get behind their flank. This unit here, I didn't want them getting exposed and drawing in the dragon. And the dragon, it looks like, is going for my necromancer. I hope that little wooden cart can survive dragon fire, but I guess we'll see. Dragon flying around looking for targets. Nothing really great yet. I think this uncovered foe is... oh, the other assassin. Okay. I don't know how I spotted that. Oh, it must have been a flyby with my my wolves over here. And the dragon's now taking a shot at my necromancer. Fireball first might... oh, thought it would follow up with the breath attack, but I guess not. Not a big deal. Moving back these two Graveguard to support. Dropping down an Invocation of Nehek to heal that. Over here I have summoned a Vargulf from my Von Karstein Lord, and I am sending him in to go do his business. Great charge, just making chunky salsa of that whole line. Blood Knights charging in from behind, tearing straight through. These spears were not braced, so I went right through them. Over here I'm bringing the rest of my knights, and let's just follow this charge in. Oh, I'm falling back. Never mind. Moving over to counter the Dark Riders, and my Blood Knights will tear them apart. That is not even close to an even fight. Those Blood Knights are the best cav in the game, in my opinion. Or if they're not the best, they're at least my favorite. Ooh, and a big fire attack coming down from the vampire, from the Supreme Sorceress. I think it did more damage to her units than to mine. And my little lord's just running around annoying people. Those Blood Knights took a lot of damage, but they're coming back in. Those zombies, I don't know what they're doing. They're off doing their thing. Charging in here, getting some good attacks, but then the Supreme Sorceress comes down. They need to pull back. Getting a rear charge into the Bleak Swords, but they're not going to stick around for too long. And let's follow this charge in. This is the one I was thinking of earlier. Blood Knights coming over the hill will slow them down a bit, but they're Blood Knights. They can do their thing. And there is the impact. That whole line just erased by that charge of Blood Knights. And my infantry are finally closing in. That was all just opening salvos. I lost micro on these Blood Knights here for a second. They stuck around too long. Same with these Blood Knights in the back. There's just too much anti-large here. They're starting to crumble. Their leadership -20. They're falling down. But this whole flank here this whole front line is just exactly how I want it. Zombies closing in to soak up that initial damage while the real killers move into place. Skeleton Spearmen, I was expecting there to be more cav or something for them to fight, but they'll do okay sitting against Bleak Swords. Not the best, but they'll hold their own while these boys move into position. The inexorable tide of death is pushing through. Just a wonderful sight. Well, if you're a vampire, probably not great if you're an elf today. And the Hydra's doing some business. Only 29 kills. I've been able to pin it down with zombies. I thought it would have done more damage, but it never fought anything I didn't want it to fight. I'm okay with it killing some zombies for as long as it wants. As long as it doesn't touch my Graveguard or my Necromancer, who is moving up in the back now. In hindsight, I should have moved these more around the flanks instead of just slamming into the front lines, but being bunched up like this does mean my the auras from the corpse cart and any healing spells will be more effective. And over here, I've lost a unit of Blood Knights, but the rest have rallied their dogs. These dogs will have to be the friends of these Blood Knights now, as they stick around chasing down routing units. I don't want to commit them into this fight just yet. I'll use them to pick off anything that runs away until I can heal them up some more. And in the front, my spears are wavering. The Hargoneth executioners are just doing their work, carving up anything that gets close to them. They've lost quite a few. There's only 30 of them left, but those 30 are still one of the scariest things on the field for my army. Well, and the massive Hydra that's killing anything that gets near it. 70 kills since we last looked at it. Maybe I underestimated that. But over here, the Bolt Fiends are wavering, they're about to break. Helibroni are wavering, they're about to break. These Shades are being chased off by dogs. These Blood Knights dipping and diving in, looking for targets to attack for a moment. Not sticking around to the Hydra, get a couple attacks, run away. We don't need to kill it, we can let that run away if we kill the rest of their army. And over here, the last confrontation's beginning. The Von Karstein Vampire Lord is moving in against the Supreme Sorceress. It looks mismatched. The Von Karstein Vampire Lord actually has no armor piercing or bonus versus large. They do okay. What is that? 170 armor piercing versus the dragon has, if it would stay up there, whatever. It has more. Taken a ton of damage, but I dropped down an invocation of heck from my necromancer just to make sure it wouldn't get interrupted if it got attacked. And now it's routing, it's off the field. Army loss is kicking in. The Von Karstein Vampire Lord's backing up, and that's it. That was a very tense game, but I actually kept the battle flowing how I wanted it to. I got a little blobbed up in the front, and that could have been punished with a breath attack from either the Hydra or the Supreme Sorceress. I'm pretty surprised I didn't see more of that. Now, the Hydra can only use its breath attack if it's not in melee, and I just kept dropping zombies on top of it. I kept hitting it with whatever was nearby. It never had the opportunity to put the fight how it wanted it. One of my go-to strategies in any RTS is I don't need to have a plan, I just need to stop you from having a plan. And if your plan was to sit on that hill, I need to surround the hill and push you off it. I need to turn your advantage into a disadvantage. His whole army being blobbed up like that meant I controlled where the fight happened. I had more cav, I could outposition him, and then I had a big cheap front line that could just pin that whole army in place, and if it's all blobbed up, you can't get out of the flank because the rest of my army's right there. So great game to my opponent. It was still a pretty close fight. Well, by the scoreboard, I think it's because I lost those Blood Knights and my other ones were pretty beat up. Wherever they are. There they are. Charging in against that broken Hydra. Plus I lost a ton of chaff, but I have all this Graveguard still here. My Von Karstein Lord was near its healing cap, but there's really nothing left on the field except that Hydra to threaten it. So thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I will see you all later.